WWE Universe Australia, it is that time. It is the road to WrestleMania, and this year the road drives directly through Perth, Australia. Elimination Chamber Perth happens live this Saturday from Optus Stadium. The chamber matches are set, and I cannot tell you how excited we are to get to Perth and be headed your way. And when we get there, there'll be just one question to ask. Are you ready?
Are you ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. They just got me going a little bit.
It's Friday morning, SEN WA Breakfast, Scotty and Goss, and that was the voice of Triple H, 14-time world champion, chief content officer for WWE. And when we have our guests in the studio, most of the times we'd like to cut up the audio just to keep it a little bit short. We don't let him to ramble. But when it involves Triple H, we just let him go.
You say whatever you like, and you go for as long as you like. We'll cut out the news, we'll cut out ad breaks, we'll cut out any other guests.
Welcome to Perth, and welcome to SEN WA Breakfast.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having us here.
Exciting time. And Rhea Ripley in the studio, of course. Scotty, an Adelaide Crows supporter, I'd just like to stipulate.
We've got some issues already between us.
Yeah. I don't like that he's sitting so close to me right now.
Reigning women's world champion.
I was at Port Adelaide. She thinks I'm going to steal something, steal the belt,
Maybe.
steal the bag.
I just got to tell you, I'm not pulling her off of you.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
How do you reckon I'd go?
Yeah, not well.
Really? Yeah. All right.
Hey, this is huge. The build-up has been enormous. The fact is that you're in our studio. Now, we're a sport entertainment network, and we have lots of footballers, lots of cricketers, lots of stars from around the world, but nothing has compared to the build-up. The staff out there...
They turned up today.
They turned up on time, early. They are ready. You command huge attention. Must be excited.
It's a little like a fish tank in here. Like watching us swim by in a circle.
Is this like it is for you everywhere you go?
There's not many places on earth where WWE is not massive, So, yeah, it's kind of what we do. We go places, and everybody there knows who we are, and it's an exciting thing. And we, like coming here, we bring a spectacle that's like nothing else. So it's hard to be denied.
I want to be in the chamber. What do I have to do about that? But I want Goss in the ring. But I want to be in the chamber, but I don't want the door to open.
Yeah. You have to sign a massive waiver is what you would have to do. Yeah.
If he's in, can I be in it?
Yeah.
Seriously, you and I'm telling you, I'm not joking. I'm a lot fitter than I look.
Yeah?
I'm not, am I?
You better be.
I'm not. I'm just hoping to bluff her out of it. And then, anyway, great to be back in Australia for you.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's super exciting. I haven't been able to compete in the ring for 7 years, and last time I was here was for Riot City Wrestling, which is my independent promotion. So to come back as a WWE superstar and it to be Elimination Chamber, and as big as it is, seeing how excited everyone is, it's getting me real pumped up. I'm stoked.
Rhea Ripley in the studio along with Triple H, 14-time world champion. Has the sport just continued to grow, even in your retirement, which is only recent in fair to you, because due to health reasons, but the sport continues and the entertainment factor goes to another level every year. Are you amazed by its continual growth?
I'm amazed, but I'm excited by it. And it's a lot of hard work that goes into it. But especially from our superstars like Rhea here, the amount of effort and what they go through to entertain fans every single week. But luckily for us, they're very excited by what we do, and when we give them a great product, they come out in droves to see it. And I think you'll see that tomorrow in Perth here with this stadium show. Optus Stadium's going to be on fire.
No doubt about that. Now, Rhea, a little girl growing up in downtown Adelaide where there's not much to do, to be honest with you. We know it's a little bit of backwater stuff.
Now he's... All right,
we're going to have some heat here.
You're sitting closer.
Don't make her angry.
I'm not pulling her off.
Hey, I wouldn't complain, don't worry. Hey, but Rhea, may I make mention of, when's the dream? When did you start dreaming about being this big in this huge world of WWE?
Well, I watched WWE when I was younger. It was funny because Triple H actually got me into WWE, watching him versus Ric Flair with the screwdriver. Yeah, I was a brutal little kid. I loved it.
So growing up, this is what you want. This is the dream.
Yeah, like I played every sport. I played soccer for 9 years. I played netball for 6. I played rugby, I did karate, I did dance, I did swimming. I did absolutely everything that you could possibly do, and I really wanted a new challenge. And once I got into WWE, I was like, I love this. Like, I want to be able to do this, but I never knew how. So I went to Queensland on a holiday and I realized that there was independent scene in Australia, and we went and watched it. I was like, this is amazing. I need to find this in Adelaide. I need to go watch, and then I want to try out when I'm old enough, sort of thing. So I found Riot City Wrestling. I watched it, and when I was 16, well, I wanted to try out at 15. That was the minimum age limit, but I already had bought my soccer shoes, so Mum made me do another year of soccer. She wasn't going to waste the money, but I started at 16. So,
when you were a little girl growing up, was there someone at primary school that you would, if you had your time over again, go, you remember me?
There's a few people, especially teachers.
Yeah. So netball, soccer, swimming, dancing, just can't hurt enough people in those sports, can you?
Nah, they're not brutal enough.
Yeah.
Even in rugby. Especially for the girls, because a lot of us had to do like the tag rugby back in the day, and I was like, nah, I need to tackle someone.
I need to hit
I
someone.
have to.
How hard is it though? Because you don't just walk into WWE. You've got a long process to get to where you are now.
Yeah.
How long has it taken?
So I started my career in 2012. That's when I started for Riot City Wrestling. So I've been at it for a while now. I started with WWE in 2017. I had my tryout in 2016. It took a lot to get to that point. I trained whenever I could with Riot City, and I stayed longer. I was there earlier than everyone. I did weights. I did everything. I just tried to make my body the machine that it is today. Thankfully, WWE traveled to Australia a little bit more at that time. So they came down to Melbourne for a show, and they had a tryout, and someone put my name forward, and I got to be a part of that tryout, and I stood out. So they called me back, and I got the contract. So,
Do you have bad nights at the office? Do you have bad days?
oh, I think we all have bad days every now and then, but I love what I do. I really do. So when you step in the ring, everything sort of, you just forget about everything that's going on in the world, and you just do what you love, you know?
I can tell you
Take it out on
this,
someone.
her bad days, you know, what she would think is a bad day, and this is why she's in the position that she's in and is so driven to be where she is, you know, she'll have a bad day that bothers her. She'll do something that she thinks was that good, was that not good enough?
Yeah.
And I can see it in her when she returns back from the ring or whatever. But the truth is nobody else would ever know that, right? She's that good. She's such a perfectionist that, you know, whatever she does, everybody else in the world looks at it and goes, wow, that was amazing. And she comes back and goes, I think I could have done that better.
Triple H and Rhea Ripley in the studio on SEN Breakfast. Now, just can I call you Paul? Or
Sure.
But yeah.
What's
Or
wrong
Sir,
with you?
or Sir, whatever you will, whatever. Just interested to know about the whole entertainment and the whole production. It is a massive thing. The Optus Stadium is just a buzz outside, of course, on a Friday. We're seeing what's going to happen at midday today. It's for free for people on the southern side of the stadium, just out the window here of the studio. How many people involved behind the scenes putting it all together?
Oh, it's an army. Yeah, I mean, you know, within the company, there's, I don't know, somewhere close to 1,000 people or more, right, that work within the company. But, you know, as you see here, if you've been inside this stadium, we've been here all week, loading in, building sets, building, you know, covering the grass, you know, everything that needs to be done to put on this spectacle. So while the athletes are front and center and they get to stand in that ring and hear, you know, what will be close to 50,000 people going crazy, the truth. Hello.
Be Rhea's fault.
Yeah.
Come on, mate.
The truth is
Push me.
there's hundreds of people behind that are making this possible for everybody, and they're, you know, the unsung heroes of making this take place. So the people that are here, even including local crews.
Now we've got some genuine WWE nuffies in our midst, right? Who are out there who just want to get a piece of the action here today. We are a little bit more removed. We're a little bit more straight up, you know, footy, cricket, basketball type of guys. Mm-hmm. Can you explain the elimination setup in regards to what's going to happen on Saturday and what this means to everybody in regards to what takes place? What are they going to see? Not for the people who know, but for the people who are thinking, what are they talking about?
Yeah, so Elimination Chamber, there's a couple of things that, as we say, we're heading on the road to WrestleMania. WrestleMania is our biggest event, right? That's our Super Bowl. Yeah. So to earn a place in a title shot in a main event at WrestleMania, you either win the Rumble, Royal Rumble, which is a competition where another competitor comes in every so many seconds, There's 30 people within it. They get thrown over the top rope. Last person standing wins.
Wow.
Elimination Chamber is the other way to get in. So there's 2 championships, both for women and for men. And the Elimination Chamber is how you can get in past winning the Rumble. So there'll be 6 competitors. 2 will start, 4 will be in pods inside of a cage. Every so many minutes, another person will come out of a pod. The last person standing, and this is pinfall or submission, last person standing wins that title shot and goes to a championship match at WrestleMania.
So who picks the order of who comes out of the pod, though? Because you'd imagine you want to come in late when you're fresh.
You want to come in, that's what you're hoping, right? It's randomized. So you're finding out who starts, and then when your pod opens is when you come out. You're hoping you're last, but you might not be.
It's like Goss Lotto. The numbers just come out. They just come out. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, but someone wins that. Everyone got lotto ever.
Becky Lynch, Bianca Belair, Liv Morgan, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, and Raquel Rodriguez. Sounds like some modelling course. They're there, but they're brutal. They are fighting to take on yourself or Nia Jax. Is that how I've read this play?
Yes, whoever comes out of my match as champion, it's going to be Mummy, of course. But whoever is the winner and the champion at the time, they get to challenge them at WrestleMania.
Well, Nia Jax, she's born in Australia, but she's turned her back on us.
You know, she said she was born in Australia, but she's not a proper Australian.
Yeah.
You know?
Turned her back.
What
I'm
makes
a
it
proper Australian.
Yeah, good point.
She didn't grow up here. I did. This is my country.
No, I'm with you. I'm back on board.
Yeah, there we go. We can agree with
bond
something.
on that. We don't
I'm going to go out and say that there's going to be a stadium full of people that know who the Australian is.
Exactly.
She's with me right now.
Let's have this discussion now. Now I don't know. I'm pretty big on social media. just so you know.
I can hear everyone laughing outside the studio, by the way.
It's not soundproof, this thing.
I've got 164 TikTok followers.
Oh, my gosh.
We're waiting for the 164,000.
Yeah, I was.
He's big.
I've got 1,797 Instagram followers. You've got 3.
How big of a team do you have to manage that?
He's
hey, mate, keep the funny stuff to me, mate.
He doesn't work in a team.
Your wrestling days are over. Be careful of the old fella.
Oh, no.
Right here.
I don't want to get all 140 people mad at me.
Yeah, make the turn on you.
3.4 million Instagram, 2.6 on TikTok. I'm only new to TikTok, but I've slayed the people who are following me. It is massive. How do you deal with that focus and that notoriety? The little girl from Adelaide. Well, not so little, but the little lass from Adelaide who did dance. How big?
I don't know. I just post what I want to post. I don't really pay too much attention to it. I feel social media is such a massive platform for what we do. So obviously we want to capitalize on that and use it as much as we can to the best of our abilities. But at the same time, it's such a poisonous thing. So I don't really read into it too much just because I don't want to see all the negative. But there is so much positive that comes from it too. Like,
do you get hate on your socials?
Oh, dude, all the time.
No.
Look at me.
What?
Mommy gets hate from everyone, but that's why Mommy's always on top. So
people don't hate you. You're not living up to your capabilities.
Are you on
Exactly.
socials?
It's when they're not. It's when they're not talking to you or saying anything. That's when you're in trouble.
Absolutely. Indifference is death.
Yeah. Your finisher, the Riptide.
Yeah.
How'd you come up with that? And can you show it on Goss?
He doesn't want that. Look at him. He's scared.
Look at him in his little. Show him the Riptide.
He's got a problem with my shirt.
Yeah.
The Snoopy shirt. Yeah.
Cool.
He's a grown man.
What do you reckon, Triple H?
That's coming from the port player.
I feel like that'll be good to collect the dust of what's left of you if she hits you with a riptide. We can collect it in that.
Show the Riptide.
I don't want any Riptide. What's your expectation Saturday night? It's obviously to win.
Yeah. I mean, that's my expectation.
Are you in form?
Sorry?
Are you in form?
In form?
Yeah. Are you wrestling well?
Of course. Mommy's always ready. It doesn't matter who is standing across from me in that ring, whether it is any of the women that come out of the Elimination Chamber unscathed or Nia Jax. I don't care. Mommy's always on top. I'm the champion for a reason. This is my division. I run this division. I run Monday Night Raw. I run WWE. And that's a fact. Judgment Day, we've taken over. And Mommy's on top.
Okay, it's just a question.
Well, too damn bad. That's what you get.
Seriously, Riptide him. Riptide him.
And Triple H, what's the expectation on the men's side? What's your expectation Saturday night? What are we going to see? Who could jump off the page for someone who might be able to cause a bit of an upset?
Oh man, it's really there's the star power in this one is on the men's side, especially, well, on both sides, but in the men's, it's hard to really call. You have Bobby Lashley in there, former world champion. You have Randy Orton in there, former world champion. Drew McIntyre, former world champion. Kevin Owens, former world champion. I mean, the people that are in that chamber, it's a who's who. So, I mean, it could go in any direction. There's a lot of momentum on people's sides right now, and that goes a lot into this as to where they're going to go. So, it really could be anybody.
For someone who's been as good as you, and you're absolutely doyen of the industry and sport, do you get frustrated sitting there watching, going, "I wouldn't have done that. I would have done that. I would have done that." That's his weak point.
I would smash these pussies.
No, no. Most times now I sit there thinking, "Thank God I'm not in there anymore. I don't want to get hit like that." The business evolves so much, and I look back at my career. And the people that were doing it at the time when I was, and I look at what they're doing now, and I think like I'm glad I'm not doing it anymore. It just evolves. It gets to a place where, no different than any other sport. It's wonderful in the era you're in, the era that you're in, but then 10 years later, 20 years later, it's gone so far beyond that you really can't make the comparison. It's tough to do.
You were a part of it though when it exploded, when it went absolutely mad. And Rhea mentioned Ric Flair, but the Undertaker, The Rock, you fight The Rock,
all the time.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, you were a part of the iconic names. Which one, if you could have a crack at right now, would you go back and say, let's just go one more time?
Well, it's tough to say because there were so many talented guys at that time, and we didn't get it. It was blowing up and it was massive, and it was just the next day, right? And you were so excited. When I look back at that time, to think like every single night I was either in the ring with The Rock, or I was in the ring with Shawn Michaels, or I was in the ring with Stone Cold, or I was in the ring with Taker. It was a who's who of the best of all time in the business in that moment. It was a magical time. So to say, who would I want to go back and go with one more time? Any of them,
Like it. Hey, Rhea, just a quick question for you too. Mm-hmm. If you had a chance to go and
I like the way you look at him.
Yeah. With
disgust.
Yeah. If I want a woman to look at me like that, I can just go home. Not talk to me wife. Hey, if you had a choice now to go back to your parents and say, hey, I'm going to be a WWE champion, or I'm going to go for Port Adelaide, which one would they be more horrified about?
Well, it's funny because my family's sort of split. So half are Port supporters and half are Crows.
So half of them have got a clue.
The Crows side does.
How did your parents handle it when you say, this is what my career path is going to be? This is what I'm going to do?
At first, they were like, not for it because it was different and they didn't want to see their little girl get hurt, sort of thing. And they saw how like dedicated I was to it at the time. So like they really wanted me to make the right decision for me and go to school and, pay attention and get a job and all that stuff. That obviously they want the best for me. But once they saw me compete in my first match, they were
doing
just
the hurting.
Yeah, they were hooked. They're always very supportive of whatever I want to do. It just might take a little bit because obviously, like I said, they want the best. Yeah. But once they saw how excited I was and love that I had in my eyes for it, they were there to support me every minute of the way. And I mean, they drove me to training every single night, so they had to support me. And then once I made it to WWE, it's just grown. It really has. Like seeing my dad cry. I've never seen my dad cry before, but like seeing him cry happy tears of how proud he is of me, it's really wonderful.
Beautiful.
To see. Yeah.
I saw them last night in the hotel, and they're just beaming. It's awesome to see somebody that when their support system comes to see them, like just how they can barely contain themselves, how proud they are of her, and it's awesome.
It is going to be incredible here Saturday night. We've had Triple H and Rhea Ripley in the studio. Are you a Swiftie?
I'm not a Swiftie. Sorry to all the Swifties. Please don't hate me for saying that.
Be careful. Don't worry about Goss's 164 followers.
Look, I have 3 daughters. The Swiftie thing is big in my house.
It's massive.
Yeah.
We can't thank you enough. I know you've been on an absolute crazy bender with all the media since you've arrived here. You've been absolutely giving of your time and of the entertainment industry, the sports industry. Rhea, we're incredibly proud of what you've achieved. Thanks for coming in, and we cannot wait to see what takes place over the next couple of days.
Oh, let's go, you and I. Let's go.
You don't want that.
Step outside.
Scotty Egos, we've been lucky enough to have in the studio WWE superstar, 14-time world champion, chief content officer, and Triple H H, of course, and
Legend.
Rhea Ripley, reigning women's world champion, who's just going to
She's okay.
smash the opposition to smithereens. This is Scotty and Goss.